this is Run the Numbers. My name is Jason, and we're doing a video part of the warm-up series. It's also one of the videos part of the 100 videos in 100 days. It's a challenge to make sure we get a whole lot of content out that helps you on your personal finance journey. Here we are, literally on the go, walking through the beautiful sunny streets of Los Angeles, California, where today we have a great breakdown analysis of one of the banking solutions that I use. And previously I made a video called Take It to the Bank, 5 banking solutions. I kind of gave something of a broad overview, broad strokes analysis of these banking solutions. So here is a bit more in-depth look at one in particular. And this one is One Financial. So that you can get from getting the One app, where you can have a couple of different banking solutions, and mainly I use One Financial for its savings account. It does have something of a checking account and some other kind of neat features, debit card, other things, but let's focus in today on just the savings. And really with this video, we're gonna be breaking it down into 4 different parts. First part, we'll set something of a little bit of level setting, a little bit of some context, and tell a little bit of the history, how One Financial came onto my radar, and thereby why it's in the mix of some of the banking solutions I use. Then we'll go into part 2. Part 2 will be, how I'm using it today, what's kind of the current status of my use with the One app. And then part 3 will be listing out some of my likes and my dislikes, something of an analysis, so that maybe you can, hold on to some of those likes, dislikes, and make a judgment for yourself, maybe run the numbers of some of the things I'm mentioning, and you can figure out if in fact you'd like to put this as one of your banking solutions. Not financial advice, so you got to make up your own mind, but hopefully my discussion of likes and dislikes, that in particular can help you do that. Now, part 4 that we'll move into will be something of where will this go from here, what's into the future, as I envision using, for myself, the One app, using One Financial as a customer. All right, so now that you know where we're going with all this, let's jump right into part 1. That is something of a history. How did I first learn of One Financial? Well, I learned of One. I saw the whole One advertisement through social media. So yeah, they did a good job of bothering me through my social media feed. And in particular, what got me was an advertised rate to their savings account, which was much higher than kind of anything out there at the time. I think everything out there at the time was somewhere in the 1%. So this was quite some time, and I'm making this video now. It might seem like a little unheard of. Most things that's sort of normal is more like, I would say the good accounts are somewhere around 5%, 4%, 5%, that kind of thing. That's what it is now as I'm filming this in early February 2024. But this was, many years ago, where the good rates to get were somewhere around the 1%. So One Financial splashes onto the scene, and they're advertising, they're trying to get new customers in at 3%. So of course I jumped at it and was like, yeah, okay, I'll try them out. And, also something new for me, that it was strictly more of a mobile app and a mobile banking solution, which I had really not done too much before. Some of my other banking solutions would have mobile apps, but I really wouldn't bother all too much with those products. But this really had its focus in, basically required you to get the mobile app. So for these reasons, yeah, I jumped in and put money into One Financial, into the One app. Now let's move to part 4, where I'll kind of fast forward from that history lesson and tell you as to the what's my status with it. So I currently use the one app, One Financial, by putting money into mostly the savings account. And I should kind of go into a little bit more detail as to kind of like what that looks like. So with your savings account, you kind of have this feature of putting your money into, or at least you're able to do it. I don't do it all that much. I just kind of have one bucket, but you're able to put your money into different buckets. It's not separate accounts. It's that you're sort of earmarking your funds for different purposes, for example. Or you could be setting aside money for other reasons, but for the most part, I like to think of it as a way that you could maybe have something of a, say, a vacation fund. If it's all the money you're saving up to be spending on a vacation. You could have it for buying a new car, buying, other different things. So it's a way that you might like to go about or keeping yourself organized. I sort of do that on my own. I don't really need this product to be doing that. So I just keep everything in just one bucket, a general savings bucket. So that's my use of it. There is another element of kind of something of a separate, it kind of forces you into a different way to have a bucket, and that is you can have both your savings and auto savings. Now, it might sound like those are very similar, and they are, and the distinction sometimes can be a little bit hazy. So to the best of my ability, how I sort of differentiate the two is that your auto savings are savings built up as you pull out a certain percent from your direct deposits. So you don't necessarily need to have your savings account with any direct deposit at all. In fact, right now, I happen to have things changed around, so I don't. But the times that I have had direct deposit go in, I found it helpful then to use this auto save where you can have up to like 10% of your direct deposit kind of pulled into its own separate area, its own separate, again, a bucket, where that money, it's still getting the same rate. It's still, well, in some circumstances, it's still getting the same rate as your regular savings, but it's treated a little differently, and I'll mention how it's being treated a little differently right now as I have it. So I have my auto savings earning all the way up to 5% as of current, as I'm filming this right now. Now my regular savings, that kind of standard savings bucket, not the auto savings bucket, as I mentioned, I don't have any more that direct deposit, and I don't keep all that much money into it, so I don't have something of the minimum amounts, the minimum deposit amounts. So it doesn't qualify for the full 5% that I otherwise could be getting in just the standard savings bucket. And because I don't qualify, I'm kind of inactive of sorts, I drop down to 1%. So in that bucket, I have basically a couple of dollars. I don't really have much into that bucket. I have a lot more in the auto savings bucket. You might be thinking kind of like, why go about this? Well, I keep a little bit just kind of to keep alive, keep active the auto savings bucket. Why pull money out of that? 5% is doing pretty good. Is doing pretty well there. But, if I want to take money and put it into other banking solutions completely outside of the one app, outside of being a One Financial customer, and I can mention about other banking solutions I go to. In fact, I've made other videos. I recommend you check them out. One in particular of where I've put most of the money I transfer out of one app. It really goes over into my cash account into Wealthfront. So I have a whole breakdown and analysis, my take on Wealthfront. I'll put the link in the description. That link in the description will be right below my link in the description I've made to the Take It to the Bank, 5 banking solutions. So check out both of those videos, and you'll get a sense as to some of my banking solutions overall. And then, Wealthfront that I mentioned is a place I pull a good amount of money just because I feel like I can do better at times than a 5%. I go into detail how I do that with a referral program, all this. But that's to say, I don't have too much in the One Financial ecosystem. I don't have it in the one app. So that's why I've kind of depleted the savings bucket. It doesn't, as I said, it doesn't meet minimum threshold. So it's all dropped all the way down to 1%, but I hold on to the auto saving at 5%. So that might be a little confusing there. If you don't like that sort of thing, if it sounds a little bit too complicated, that's something to keep in mind. That if you might want to avoid that if that's not for you. But that's how I use it. So that's part two. That rounds out part two as kind of the current usage. Let's move into part three. It actually dovetails rather well into now telling about likes and dislikes. I find it part of the likes that I kind of do this kind of complicated method of holding my money just so that I can keep alive the ability to earn 5% in the auto savings. I kind of don't want to lose track of that. As well as, I have some options of moving money over to the sort of standard savings. And then, of course, I can even move it over into the sort of more checking, what's kind of referred to as the spending type account within One Financial. So I like the way that that's organized. I'm putting that in the likes column. Your results may vary. You might kind of find that overly complicated and put that in the dislikes. But through this, maybe I've mentioned another thing that you might put in the likes category, and that is a pretty high return. Your yield is pretty good on the cash that's just sitting there. You're getting a good amount of interest. Like I mentioned, all the way up to 5% as of current taping this. And it can get there, and as I mentioned, from the auto savings at 5%, but also you can bump up, as I don't have right now, but I've had in the past. It's not that tough to do. You just set up direct deposit. You can set up a minimum deposit, a minimum amount that is there that qualifies you for the 5% in just the standard savings. So that's pretty high. I would put that in the likes category. Now, on the flip side of that coin, maybe in the dislikes, is that, you gotta, it's not just kind of given to you, I don't want to say for free, but given to you without some hassles. So it could be a dislike of there's requirements to get that 5%. There's requirements of either doing a direct deposit with a certain amount, or you could do it by holding a certain amount as a minimum balance. So that also could be a dislike if you're a little bit upset that they force you to go through that requirement. So another thing I should just say is the whole element of organizing your money into different buckets. I put that in the like column. I don't do all that much as I've gone into detail, but it's a tool out there that could be utilized for your benefit. So I'll put that in the likes column. That is, at least it's there, and it's something that you could enjoy. All right. I'm trying to think of some other dislikes I should give something of a fair and balanced viewpoint. I guess maybe if I'm really forcing myself to put some other dislikes in here, is that this is going to be a mobile banking app solution. You can use it online, so I don't want to say only mobile, but basically this is an online and mobile banking. So if that's not your thing, if you prefer in-person interaction by going and finding somebody at an actual retail branch, physical location, then it's going to be something into the dislikes column that you're getting some high yield savings account usage because there's less expense to One Financial by simply not having brick and mortar locations. So that might be in your dislikes column. Okay, let's have that stand where it is, likes and dislikes. Let's move into now item number 4. Part number 4 is where we're going to go from here. So where we're going to go from here, my future use with the One app, with One Financial, is simply, keep more of the same. And that is, I will have a small amount of money to keep alive, the 5% in the auto savings bucket, as I kind of mentioned that specifically. I'm not in any hurry to put a whole lot more money into that, but I'm not exactly going to take money out there. I'm just going to kind of let that sit as a way to diversify some things, and just kind of let money lie as it is. Um, as far as other use of it, creating other buckets and all these kind of things, I'm really just going to keep it as is. I'm going to kind of be happy with the status quo. So yeah, as I see it now, maybe things could change if they make some changes, of course, to their interest rates that they're paying out, and of course, other changes, other features that they could have. It could change my mind how I use it, but for now, I'm really just gonna keep it to what I described. I guess back over into part 2 of just what's my status with it, how do I use it. So I'm just gonna, yeah, as I see, years out, just keep what I have. All right, I'm gonna leave you there. That's my analysis of the one financial use. So hopefully this has helped you a little bit. Hopefully you can like and subscribe, and other people can maybe learn of this. 'Cause a lot of people might not know of One Financial, but it's out there and it gives some good solutions to people. So please share it with some other folks, and I'll leave you there. All right, gotta run.